Hey, Lee, why is the word busy a four-letter word?
That's a great question, Luke. We will answer that and talk about it today on this episode of the Williford Brothers.
Welcome back to another episode of the Williford Brothers. We are your show hosts, Luke and
Lee Williford.
Today we're going to talk about busy. The word busy, why is it a four-letter word, and why you should try to take it out of your vocabulary, just like profanity.
Yes.
It is so natural to just say I'm busy. Everybody's busy. But are they
busy doing what?
Busy doing what? I know people who say they're busy that aren't busy. Like, I watch their life. They're not busy. And I'm like, you could not fathom all that I have going on
We're busy.
in a day. But I've learned that busy is not always productive. It's not always the right thing. It's not always the biblical thing.
Mm-hmm.
You've definitely got to work. That is. But
work is also another four-letter word, but it is not a profane four-letter word.
Yeah, and I think just the technology, our phones, this era being addicted to our phones, how we use them, we almost wear busy as a badge.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we take that off? Lee is much better at this than I am. You may be saying Luke doesn't qualify to talk about this because the guy's always
you
busy.
Can.
But go ahead.
You manage your desire to stay busy or stay productive and work very well. I mean, you have, especially in the last 10 years or so,
honed it in.
Yeah, definitely. Having a family can force you to do that. Yeah. So I think busy is a culturally accepted term, which just covers we're not doing nothing. It means we're not bored. We are keeping ourselves occupied by either meaningful work, or pointless work, or dangerous, destructive work. And you and I see a lot of people, and some days ourselves, who are busy with pointless, non-productive, destructive work. And I think as husbands, as owners and operators of our businesses, we have to be conscious of that, conscious of our tendency to be drawn to keeping ourselves, quote unquote, busy, rather than making sure that we have a good understanding of what work is and the type of work that we are called to do, and limiting the non-productive or eliminating destructive way that we spend our time. Yeah.
At the end of the day, Lee and I could go around and clean every laundromat that we have. We could take every laundromat call that comes into our call center.
Yep. And that would keep us busy.
We stay busy with working on our company, talking to contractors, solving the major problems. We're here today with a gas leak, and there's some things we need to come to, and when the laundry's shut down, we run to that. But there's a lot of things we don't spend a whole lot of time on that we've learned over time not to spend a whole lot of time on, including collections, including sweeping the floors, including painting the walls, including
and hiring and firing people.
Yes.
Just to make sure that we have set what our standards are, and then empowering other people to be able to do that, which is huge.
And as a leader, someone who has a business or businesses, you have to begin to delegate or you'll get extremely busy. And then someone who is not a business owner or not yet where they want to be career-wise, you have to make sure your time and your energy is put being productive and being busy, if you will, on things that you want, your heart's desires. Mm-hmm. So I heard it once said, if we get on Highway 95 from here in Fayetteville, where we're at today, and we head south, we can think we're going to New York all we want.
I'm on 95.
The whole way down there, we can think we're going to New York, but we're going to end up in Miami.
That's right.
If you're on South 95, you're going to end up in Miami. Life's the same way. We can stay really busy on wasting our time commenting on social media or just consuming massive amounts of content on YouTube or listening to us and taking no action, but just listen, learn. I've seen people for years and years looking to get into the laundry business, and they're just listening. They never do any thing that is actually productive.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think it's good to do an assessment. My wife is very good at this. Do a self-assessment of how you are spending your time, and to break it down just like your financial budget. Do a time budget, because time is typically how we measure our busyness. And what it is, busy means we don't have enough time to do all the activities that we want to, or we have too many activities to fit into the amount of time that we have. So if you think about it in the reverse, you have to think, okay, I've only got 24 hours in a day. If I sleep for 7 hours, that's 17 hours of wakefulness. What am I going to do with those 17 hours? And if you were to look and see how you spend truly those 17 hours, just look on your phone and see how many hours a day you're using your phone and which apps you're using. And be sure to eliminate again or reduce the non-productive, non-value adding activities that you are spending time on. Do a self-analysis and try to eliminate the destructive behaviors that you are taking on. I mean, if you're sitting around and drinking or doing any sort of drugs, or picking fights with people online just so that you can feel like a winner, then reevaluate that. Yes, you'll stay busy doing that, but there's no production in that. There is no value added in that. And then take that time and reassess it, assign it to a value-producing activity. And I feel like that's what the Lord calls us to do, is to spend the time that He graciously gives us to, exalt Him through pouring into other people's lives, through, making investments that will be meaningful to our families and our children, serving people with excellence. And all of those activities, and identifying what those activities are, can keep you, quote unquote, busy, but not in the sense that the world uses the word busy. And I think that's what I want to do, is just have busy, the definition of it, just reset, so that, what it means is, or what we want to say is, we're being productive. And we are being productive in the areas of our life that are meaningful, with our families, with our faith, with our businesses, our team members, our friends, social things, volunteering, our own health. All of those areas require some sort of time, and how we are spending that time is very important.
Yes, and this podcast was born out of me kind of auditing my time. We get a lot of requests for helping others, and the best way to share and help the most amount of people was to, of course, bring Lee on, and secondly, sit down and spend 20 minutes on a certain topic, so hundreds, possibly thousands, can have that conversation without me having to take that call, because the calls get quite cumbersome. So that's actually what this podcast a lot was born out of, is not trying to be busy with a call all the time with someone. And auditing our time. I try to stay on my phone, my screen time, at 4 hours. I just looked, it was almost at 7 hours. And I need to get that back down to 4. I'm very intentional about that. My thing on social media and using my phone, and also we have ticketing system softwares, so I'm texting contractors and dealing with people all the time. And we've put ticketing systems in to help with the busyness, because if you just start texting everybody and calling everybody, you just get a whole lot of
messy.
It gets a little bit cumbersome and crazy. So we have one place where we can go,
but you'd stay busy,
create tickets, but it wouldn't be half as productive as we are now. So you've got to have checks and balances. You've got to set some parameters, and try to stay within those parameters, and try not to verbalize the word busy. when people I see them at church or anywhere,
Yeah.
how you been? I've been busy, man. I've been busy, and we wear that as a badge, and it's natural. But I encourage you to try to lose that word, drop that word,
and ask them, busy. Okay, yeah, busy doing what? What you doing these days? What you up to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't compare our busy. Mark Zuckerberg's running a billion-dollar entity, so we don't compare,
Yeah. And Mother Teresa was busy running, an orphanage.
Yeah. And my wife's busy keeping up with my 3 kids right now. And
yes.
some people would
And
say
that's
she
the
doesn't
beauty of
work,
Oh,
but
man.
she is. Her role is so much more important than my role. But me on this podcast, you might think differently, but no, your purpose, your calling. Oftentimes the devil's going to try to keep you busy and distracted from all that he's called you to do.
Yes.
Stay faithful, stay diligent. Look in the mirror. Really, budget your time, like Lee said, and your money. Budget both of those things.
They're limited resources.
Yeah.
Got to. Home economics, that's basic.
This phone, it will take your time. People will take your time if you let them. Givers have to have limits because takers don't. That's a quote that I have to really think about. I get a lot of requests for time and resources, and I've been reading quite a bit on that. And one of the things it said yesterday, if you don't know their middle name and they don't know your middle name, maybe they're not close enough to be reaching out for that. So, but you've got to put in guardrails to keep yourself from not doing and missing what God has called you to do, what you have the desire to do. I think about we're sitting in Fayetteville with a dozen or so laundromats right here. I remember living in Greenville, North Carolina, and traveling up here a lot, and we could have been busy doing, whatever, something unproductive, and we might have missed that, And I think about the power of the perpetual effect of what we do. If we stay real busy, we're just going to have headaches. We're going to have anxiety. If we stay consuming content, we're going to be comparing ourselves all the time, and that's not what you want ultimately. So you have to be intentional about that. But the power of drawing a line in the sand and saying, I'm not going to use my phone for more than a certain amount of time, and I'm not going to deal with those people because they just make me busy and it's not productive. Those friends, those groups, golf. I play golf. My goodness, I could waste so much time playing golf. I love it.
Busy playing golf.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
stay busy playing golf.
I have friends who play golf 7 days a week, and maybe that's what they're called to do. But man, for me, I've got to be intentional about not doing that, because that takes time. Anytime we're doing anything, we're taking time from something else.
And golf isn't a bad thing.
It's
a lifetime sport.
It has
you
to
get
be
out
managed.
in the beauty of the world. Some beautiful golf courses out there. Get to spend time with friends who are playing. But when you're doing it for hours every day, it becomes to just keep you busy. Yes.
And I hope one day when I retire in Costa Rica to play a lot of golf and surf a lot. But whatever you're working on, maybe take a sheet of paper, take some time, reallocate your time, and write down your goals, man. Write a vision board. I've got a vision board at my house. I love a whiteboard. Lee and I both have whiteboards in our offices, and mine always has all kinds of stuff on it.
Keeps it there in front of you all the time.
But it's a visual, and then when you're done with it, check it off.
And share it with somebody, with a spouse, with a friend, and sharing it with them will hold you accountable to it, whatever it is.
Something else I've done on a shorter term is write down goals for a day that are the major things that I need to do, and check them off, and know that when they're checked off, there's nothing else you need to do. The rest is not even important. And when you're done with all your tasks, be done with all your tasks. Be all present where you're at.
Yes, be present.
Be present.
Man, that's good.
I've struggled, especially in years past, with being 15 minutes away from where I was, and I was never present in the conversation that I was having. So try to be intentional about being present.
And I think that's one of the temptations, because it's so easy in today's world that we all face. Is being here rather in the world of the internet and all of its machinations. And
lastly, as believers, we've got to stay present to do what God's called us to do. A lot of times we want to look to be a missionary in another country or go help somebody or travel somewhere, when oftentimes all that God's called us to do is a person right near us that just wants an ear to listen, or may need something that
small.
you have. Maybe your testimony is going to help their what they're walking through. But if we're not all present and we're too busy to do what God's called us to do, we might miss out on opportunities to serve. So to me,
Yes.
that's just really helped me to slow down in the laundries, especially, and just in life, and help God use me and work through me,
Yes.
because He has a harder time, I think, working with me when I'm extremely busy. But I've got to be open
True
and
for all of us.
prioritize. Budget your time, budget your money.
Yep.
Knock out the word busy, take it out
Audit
of your
it,
vocabulary.
assess it, and stop saying you're busy. Just be productive.
Yep. We're going to
Whatever
try
you're
to do the
called to.
same.
Yes.
God bless you guys. Thank you for
Absolutely.
watching. TheWillifordBrothers.com. Check us out. Everything there. We hope you enjoy these free podcasts. Share them with friends. Send us some questions. And we just encourage you. We hope you see your dreams come true. Take care. God bless you. Yee.